Hey everyone, Sherman Chin here, and today we're going to talk about Mobile Suit Freedom, Mobile Suit Gundam Freedom, the movie. Okay, so this movie has been 18 years in the making. Now, this song, if you watch this show more than 18 years ago, there are 100 episodes of them, and you're bring back lots of memories just listening to this Meteor song. Okay, and this is the Freedom Gundam. And so this is going to be sort of like a spoiler review because I didn't watch this movie to, it's been a few months since it has been released in Japan. I watch it in the cinemas here to support Mobile Suit Gundam Freedom, the movie. Okay, so this is slightly different from the rest of the Gundam stories. Okay, so if you like other Gundams, maybe you wouldn't like this. And if you haven't watched Gundam before, you haven't watched Mobile Suit Gundam, or you haven't watched any of the Gundam series, then you probably wouldn't like it. You watch it, there is it's a character-driven story, and I think that you can actually still appreciate it. So the lowest score you will get, even if you haven't watched any Gundam, you will at least give it a 6 out of 10 because it's character-driven. And I have Kira and Lacus here. Kira and Lacus are the main characters. If you haven't watched Gundam before, just remember these are the main characters, and these are the characters you have to care about, and it's essentially a love story. So big spoiler here, if you haven't watched and you are actually a Mobile Suit Gundam Seed and Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny fan, so there are 50 episodes of Mobile Gundam Seed and Mobile Gundam Seed Destiny, the other 50 episodes, you are a fan of that and you're worried that it might destroy your childhood, don't worry, okay? This movie is absolutely curated for fans, okay? It even brings back the freedom, right? This is the original freedom in Mobile Suit Gundam, because in Mobile Suit Gundam Freedom, Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny, okay? They actually introduced the Strike Freedom, which is a slightly enhanced version of this. I don't know what happened to it, but it's not brought back. This one is brought back, and of course they had enhancements to it. This is the best, I would say the best Gundam for me, okay? Personally, I love it, and it has aesthetics of this knife that I have here. In case you guys are wondering, you can get this from Thomas Tools with my discount code ShermanChin for 5%. I'll get just use the link down below and help support this channel, okay? So this aesthetics here, you can see it's totally inspired by Gundam. The lines, the cleanliness, the zen feel, and of course the cool action of this. So okay, enough of that little sponsorship. Well, it's not even sponsorship. Basically, you're just helping me because I just get a small percentage out of it. But I would just say that Mobile Suit Gundam Seed has influenced my life. Okay, since I was well, I wouldn't say a kid, right? Since I was young, I had hair then. Okay, yeah. So more than 20 years ago. It's created by Chiaki Morosawa. It's written by this woman, and she wrote this awesome story. Unlike the other Gundam series, this one focuses a lot on these two characters, Kira Yamato and Lacus Clyne. So in this movie, they do not destroy what you have of the previous characterization. Basically, at the beginning, you might not like it because you would think that they made these two not trust each other because they are best friends, right? And they have always trusted each other, and that's what I really like about Mobile Suit Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny. They've always trusted each other, right? And Gundam Seed Destiny has other characters like the Shin, which is another main character, right? But they did not focus so much on Shin on this movie. Instead, they focus back on Kira and Lacus, right? And Lacus here, for the first time, she actually was not like super strong and knew what she did, because in the previous series she always knew what, she always has this strategy in mind. She's a strategist and she always knew what to do. But I would say that in this movie, for the first time, she actually broke down, and I got really concerned about that. But okay, there is a slight spoiler, because the enemy actually did a number on her brain, right? So they have like psychic powers, and she was sort of like brainwashed. So can't blame her, okay? And because of this emotional, there's this emotional journey that both of them been through, right? Also Kira in this movie, he wasn't, he was actually, he needed a punch to his face to actually wake up and do what is right? Because in this movie, I think the moral of the story, I think they brought around, like, I mean, the main philosophy of Gundam Seed is that just don't follow what people tell you, right? It's always about rebellion, right? It's about freedom, right? And that's what I love about this movie. If you look at the state of the world today, right, you always get like very polar opposite opinions, right? They always tell you who's the bad guy, who's the good guy, right? Who's the bad and good guy, right? But and depends on which side you're on. Of course, the good guy and the bad guy changes. So this movie has taught me since young, right? That the real story is always a gray area, and you have to find out for yourself who is actually the one making use of you, who is manipulating you. And this story, as Lacus says, sometimes people love you because they need you, but you actually need to be loved, and then you will be needed, right? So only when you are loved, then you are needed, but not because you are needed that you are loved. Okay, remember that. Okay, in case you ever wonder, you do have to fight for your dreams, right? And it's the process and the journey that matters, and not the end goal. So over here, Kira, okay, was actually, I would say a bit jealous, because Lacus actually found a race, right? Because in Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny, the story is quite the story is quite obvious. There's a race of coordinators, which are the stronger genetically modified human race, and there's a race of humans, right? And they're fighting with each other. But over here, there's another step up. Okay, this is a genetically modified of the modified coordinators, so they are even stronger. They have psychic powers and stuff. So the thing is, in this movie, they actually brought back all the same tropes, the same themes, the same philosophy that was in the previous two series, right? So their ability to bring that back, it's not something that's groundbreaking, it's not something that is mind-blowing, right? You already know the story if you have watched the series, right? But the fact that they managed to bring this all back, and then they just improve on the story, or rather, I wouldn't say improve, they rather compress the story into a movie, right? But at the same time, they bring back the same characters. And if you're wondering, they do not mess with your characters. All your beloved characters are still there. They even bring back, like I said, the Freedom, the best mobile suit there is in this entire series, in my opinion. And the only problem, spoiler alert again, is that they destroyed the Archangel, which is the HQ battleship. But I guess that's not a big problem, because all the characters managed to survive, and the main characters managed to survive, and that's what's important, I think. And to me, this is more like a tribute, right? Tribute to Chiaki Morosawa, who died in 2016, and that's why her work since 2006 was postponed to now, 18 years to 2024. And I think this is like a fantastic tribute to this great author, and I think that we should go appreciate it, because if you've been brought up with this philosophy, you understand the world better. And I think she's helped people understand that the world is not black and white, and you really need to work towards the goal. Like, even though you want peace, okay. So in this story, Lacus found that race, which is the enhanced enhanced coordinator race, so it's also an enhanced human, to be the perfect race where there's no wars, because they have this destiny plan where they are built to everyone has a destiny, everyone has a role in society, right? So there will be peace, there will be no wars, because everyone knows what to do, right? And there's this race, which is the foundation race, I think they call them, I don't know, more than the coordinators who are, this group is called foundation, and they are the ones who builds the foundation and oversee this entire genetic society structure, right? So they oversee it, sort of like overseers, and they police this structure so that it's perfect and there's always peace. And that's actually what Lacus wants, and that's what they have been fighting for. And that's why Kira was like, oh yeah, so this is what Lacus wants, and she's supposed to be the one that will be the sort of like the queen to the king, who is the ultimate bad guy in Foundation, right? And that's what the whole story is. It's a really simple story, but what makes the story so special is that it just boils down to the emotional ties between these two best friends, right? They have always been portrayed as best friends. They have, I guess they never had, they didn't even kiss, I think, in the series, right? And over here, they realize that they actually love each other enough to make it into a romantic relationship. And after these 18 years, you feel gratified, right? That's what the whole story is about, right? And although I know that the way they did it, the way they sort of broke down this Lacus and Kira, I mean, they were not really acting like they should, but towards the third act and the end of the movie, they became who they are again. They became who they were, and they became who they are, right? Because they are essentially like a god and goddess, right? They symbolize like the ultimate freedom. That's why the movie is called Gundam Seed Freedom, right? Because it represents humanity, right? We are humans because we are loved, right? And as the movie says, if you think you are not loved, means you haven't actually been appreciative of the people around you. Perhaps you have been loved by someone, but you ignore that person because it's not the person you love, right? You can't force someone to love you, right? You can't love someone because you need them, right? That's the way you're forcing someone to love you, because you need them to feel love, and that's why you love them. That's not how it works. You are supposed to be loved, and then you are needed, right? So you have to appreciate the people who love you around you, right? And you have to fight for that, right? You just can't expect, this kind of love to come to you naturally, right? Like, you have to fight for it. That's what being human is all about. That's what, it's not perfect, right? But you fight for those people, you appreciate those people who love you, and that's why you're needed in this world. And I think that summarizes the whole movie. And to me, as a fan, like I said, I will give it like a 10 out of 10, man. Maybe not 10 out of 10, a 9 out of 10, simply because of that sort of like characterization failure at the middle part. They should have done it in a more subtle manner, I would say. And although some fans would say, hey, how come they didn't introduce any new characterizations, any progression to the characters? We don't need that, right? This is a tribute. It's more of a fan service, right? That you appreciate the existing characters for who they are. In fact, you have the pairing of Aslan and Kagali that's still there, very strong. You have the pairing of Shin and Luna Maria, which is still there and very strong. Although they did not focus on that and focus more on these two, Lacus and Kira, you get the sense that the other characters have their own pairings. So it's essentially a romantic story. And I love that about this movie. So I'm gonna end it here. If you guys like reviews like this, please do comment down below. Tell me, subscribe, like, and click that notifications bell. And like I said, if you guys like knives, head on to thomastools.com.my, use the link below, and use my coupon code to get 5% discount. See you guys. Okay, now.